So when last did you think of going on a museum outing? I know, probably a very, very long time ago, because most people might look at museums as locations that you visit during a school excursion, but with the wealth of knowledge, preservation and perspective offered by a visit to a museum, this can really change your worldview and the way that you live your life. And so with today being International Museum Day, we have the CEO of the Castle of Good Hope, Mr. Calvyn Gilfellan, joining us on Expresso to shed more light on the importance of history. Thank you very much for being here with us, sir.
Good morning and happy Museum Day.
Happy Museum Day, yes. That's the thing, so we go around saying Happy Museum Day. Okay, all right. So tell me more about the Castle of Good Hope as, I think, one of the foundations of preservations of historic artifacts in our country, and being part of the Castle of Good Hope and what that experience has been like for you.
Yes, thanks for that question. Indeed, if you look at our history, the development of the Southern African Confederation of States in Africa, then for me the castle represents the navel of modern Southern Africa and South Africa. So we have there a preserved building that's connecting Europe or the West with Africa and with the East. And with all the artifacts in the castle, I think it's a must that on Museum Day, people should pay a visit there. Because it's really about our shared heritage. It's about Africa, Europe, the East, the West, everybody, you know, almost like a mall where all people meet.
Yes.
And also, of course, the VOC, you know the history of the Dutch East Indian Company, the first company brand in the world, also established at or operated at the Castle of Good Hope.
Yeah, there's so much to learn and so much to discover. And I want to know more about what happened last weekend, because I believe that the Iziko Mobile Museum was at the castle at the start of the celebrations of International Museum Day. And what was the public experience? What did they say? What was happening during that time?
Yeah, our partner Iziko in the Castle of Good Hope actually selected the slave run. Every year we have a slave run, because we talk about the shared heritage, and the slave from Africa and from the East is celebrated and commemorated on that day. And we have a slogan called that we take the castle to the people and bring the people to the castle. So taking the castle to the people is saying that between the 5 walls of the castle, only the people who can afford can come there. But you can, through creative means of social media and even outreach programs, you can take the museum outside into the communities, especially communities who can't afford not the entrance fee, but the transport to get them into the museums. And that's very important to us, because you want to share our history, share our heritage, then people need to interact with that. For instance, we were at the Rand Easter Show. We took a image of the castle there, and people were saying we never knew that the castle was still there. So that's the excitement that you want to create about our history, because if you understand the history, you will understand the present and build a better future. That's critical to us.
And I mean, also having the support of the public helps in the upkeep of these buildings. But you know, some people might say, well, there's the internet. I can just Google the castle and read up on it. What do you say? What do you think is the value of actually being able to interact with these actual artifacts in these buildings?
No, there's a big word called tactile interaction with artifacts. I was taking a woman into the torture chamber yesterday, and she obviously saw the images in virtual reality or in augmented reality or on the cell phones or on the internet. But coming in there and actually still get a sense of the pain and suffering that people were tortured in that room, you can only get that when you're in there, because you almost smell the adrenaline of fear in that room when you see the chains and we see that. So there is still, in the modern internet and social media, there's still a case to be made for tactile, for interactive experiences.
Calvyn, thank you very much for joining us this morning, the CEO of the Castle of Good Hope. If you'd like to find out more about the Castle of Good Hope, go to castleofgoodhope.co. And also, if you want to find out how International Museum Day is celebrated all around the world, visit network.icom.museum.